I know your name. Don't hide from me, 'cause I see all your pain. It's written in your eyes. You and I, we are one and the same. For better or for worse, our dreams are our curse. We are united in our pain. So tell me why we live like angels with no halos, walking blind in a wasteland, a graveyard out of sight and out of mind. We must be crazy to live so aimlessly, and yet so confined. We survive. We are fighters and we break the lies alive. We break the lies alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. I'm here. Somehow we survive. Tell me why we're gifted with such insight, but we're so blind to the demons that we all fight. Is this really by design? And if so, then what happened to our human side? If we can't let go of the hate in our souls, then I fear we've wasted our lives. We survive. We are fighters and we break the lies alive. We break the lies alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. I'm here. Somehow we survive. We survive. We are fighters and we break the lies alive. We break the lies alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. I'm here. Somehow we survive. Siamese, I know your name. Don't hide from me, 'cause I see all your pain. It's written in your eyes. You and I, we are one and the same. For better or for worse, our dreams are our curse. We are united in our pain. So tell me why we live like angels with no halos, walking blind Bring me I know your name. Don't hide from me, 'cause I see all your pain. It's written in your eyes. You and I, we are one and the same. For better or for worse, our dreams are our curse. We are united in our pain. So tell me why we live like angels, wearing no halos, walking blind in a wasteland, a graveyard, out of sight and out of mind. It must be crazy to live so aimlessly, and yet so confined. We survive. We are fighters and we break the lies alive. We break the lies alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. I'm here. Somehow we Tell me why we're gifted with such insight, but we're so blind to the demons that we all fight. Is this really by design? And if so, then what happened to our human side? If we can't let go of the hate in our souls, then I fear we've wasted our lives. We survive. We are fighters and we break the lies alive. We break the lies alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. I'm here. Somehow we survive. We are fighters and we break the lies alive. We break the lies alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. Even when you're on your own. I know your name. Don't hide from me, 'cause I see all your pain. It's written in your eyes. You and I, we are one and the same. For better or for worse, our dreams are our curse. We are united in our pain. So tell me why we live like angels with no halos, walking blind in a wasteland, a graveyard, out of sight and out of mind. It must be crazy to live so aimlessly, and yet so confined. Eye to eye, we survive. We are fighters and we break the odds alive. We break the odds alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. Somehow we Tell me why we're gifted with such insight, but we're so blind to the demons that we all fight. Is this really by design? And if so, then what happened to our human side? If we can't let go of the hate in our souls, then I fear we've wasted our lives. Eye to eye, we survive. We are fighters and we break the odds alive. We break the odds alive. Even when you're on your own, you don't walk alone. I'm by your side. Somehow we
Oh! Oh, I wonder. Oh. I don't know what that kind of intro was. But ladies and gentlemen, it's Ring Warriors. It's Friday. It's the usual time. It is yours truly, Don't Be Expert Coles, here on Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer, as we are about to play Ring Warriors. And at the moment, most of my party members are running a little bit late, which is fine, because I have some updates of all the game for you. But I am joined already by Tash.
Hello.
Who, if you don't know, is our player of Lavanya, the current reigning
Atlanta State champion, yes.
Love
And the Hissam Brawler with fists of brick.
She punch. And
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
She punch. That's it. No, that is the catchphrase. That is on the T-shirt. So Lavanya, she punch. ... That's it.
Yeah. Just little. But the font of that it has to be smaller than
So tiny.
the rest of the T-shirt.
Oh hell yeah.
Well, small enough so everyone can read it, but big enough. No, big enough so people can read it, but small enough to make it more diminutive.
Exactly. Pretty much. So,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, one other thing I am going to quickly do before we actually get into this as well, I'm just going to make sure that this reads where my cursor is, because I want it to capture my cursor so that you can see what I am pointing at throughout this presentation. As if this is like some crazy presentation.
Death by PowerPoint!
You
Or
will
something
watch
like that.
this PowerPoint presentation and be educated in the ways of the 90s
Yeah.
and early 2000 school. Anyway, I say
Yes.
that, but we all use PowerPoint still, so it's all good.
Yeah, this is true.
What you are seeing on the stream now is Ring Warriors, the tabletop role-playing game Player's Handbook, created by yours truly. Fun fact about the Player's Handbook so far, it is currently standing at a whopping 72 pages on Word, 30,211 words, coupled in such a way to make this an amazing experience so far. What you are seeing is my makeshift title page at the moment, just with the logo, a little bit there, and the copyright logo. If anyone dares to take it, I will kick you in the royal arse. Anyway.
Legally!
Legally. Yes. Completely legally. But the reason why I wanted to do a little bit of this before we get into the campaign today is because updates. And quite frankly, it's been a couple of weeks. I've been in Vegas and recovering from Vegas, which is still ongoing because my head is achy-bakey and I'm still knackered as all hell coming back to work this week. But I still wanted to do a session and we're ready to go. So, what updates do we have in store? Well, Foxy, that's an update. There's Foxy, update. Ah.
Hello!
Hello. So, is this chapter 3?
Technically, yes. This will be chapter 3, part 1.
Oh, right.
Lovely. So, as you can see, title page, simple as. But we're going to go through some of the... there's only like a minor change, but I wanted to show you some of the progress that we have done so far. The major thing that will be present in this so far is that it's got a lot of information to take in. So it's got a full breakdown of statistics, full breakdown of the dice system, which is known as the 4-pillar system, signifying the 4 pillars of a ring in order to keep it upright, using the art of a D4, D6, D12, and D20, the 4 dice of choice for the game. The turn breakdown and how turns work, as well as the favour and harm system and how they work. So, one thing that has changed... Woo! What an update. She punch! That's it. I love it. Well done, Tash. Thank you very much. Whoa! I love that emote so much. It's been a while, and I still love it. So, one big change for the favour and harm system. So, the favour and harm system has been changed ever so slightly. And I literally mean ever so slightly. because it pretty much still works the same as normal. So everyone still has their block of stats with their main stats, their favor stats, and their harm stats. However, their harm stats, being half of their core stat rounded down, at least for now, because we're using that for test purposes, instead of you just rolling a d20, like I'll roll one now, just for example. If I rolled a d20 and I land on, oh great, 7, but I get to add my stat modifier, let's just say my stat is a 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I rolled a 13 in total. Not bad, average, it's alright. But what used to happen was, if I had the exact same roll with my stats and have our favor and harm system work previously, obviously with harm you would only add for half of your stat instead of the full stat. So if I still rolled 7 and my main stat was 6, my harm stat would be 3, so instead of rolling 13 I would only roll 10. And just rolling 10 is okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a thing to worry about, because you can still roll relatively high or get a half decent score from your dice with that little bit coming from your harm stat, but just happens to get you where you need to be. And that's not how I want the harm system to work. So we have changed it, where effectively now, instead of adding on your harm stat, you take it away from your roll. So if I rolled a 7, instead of adding 3, which is my harm stat, I will take away 3 from 7. So now 7 will become 4. And that can make you very upset, especially when you know, ooh, have I cleared it? Minus for harm. Ooh. Did you? See, now it adds a little bit more tenseness, because
Oh yes.
because the trick is, harm is built to make it so that in certain scenarios where you have a clear disadvantage or something is ailing you that is purposely stopping you from doing something, you want to have something that actively works against the player's dice roll, because you want to have that feeling that the players have to overcome another problem in their way via the act of rolling the die as they're role-playing, so that it adds more tense environments to any situations out there. And this could be in dialogue, this could be in combat, this could be in promo offs, this could be anywhere on the spectrum of things. And it's just going to make it a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more engaging, a little bit more happy and sad, and a little bit more real, which is what I want. So, slight change there, but it's going to make some big changes in itself. The other things that we've also gone, I've done now a full breakdown of wrestler creation, which goes into detail about rolling for your stats, applying said stats, how to calculate your harm and favor stats appropriately, and all that jazz, which is amazing. And then we go through our races like normal, which is absolutely fantastic. Going through the human, the elf, dwarf, the sharkon, the loplin, the hissen, the agricon, and the gnome. Fantastic. The styles, I checked through the styles to make sure everything was in order, and yes, everything is. I'm very happy with how the styles now work at the moment. So the Technician, Powerhouse, Brawler, Luchador, Extremist, Strongest Styler, High Flyer, and Icon are still up for grabs. They got obviously updated during the major update of the game where we changed to the 4-dice system, but after that, I'm very happy with how the skills will work. Will they get reworked? Maybe, it depends on how it works after some tweaking, but as for this moment in time, looking pretty darn awesome, so I can skip through the majority of the player handbook just with that alone. After that, the items at the moment are still very basic. It needs to be added upon a lot, but some things have changed, such as like the starting equipment that some of the styles do come with. That has been adapted with the 4-dice system, just to make things a little bit easier for the moment. Then we move on to the packs. The packs haven't changed. They're still pretty solid, pretty good, and they give you some wacky things that you're just going to have fun with, which you can't complain about. Weapons. So I don't think I've ever actually gone over weapons on a stream, so I want to cover this quickly. Weapons in the wrestling world are extremely important. And if you don't think weapons are extremely important in the wrestling world, watch ECW and Attitude Era WWE, or even before that, watch the old school 70s into 80s WWE or wrestling in general, and steel chairs were being used all the time. And, dare I say, the announce table was always being smashed into, ring bells were being used, wires, cables, snakes were used as weapons, you name it. Weapons were abundant, and still are abundant, in the wrestling world. So of course you're going to have weapons, but they don't act like your Dungeons & Dragons weaponry. Oh no. So, how weapons work in the game is very straightforward. You have your common weapons, your uncommon weapons, and your exotic weapons. And these do certain damage outputs, mostly D6s, which is the main damage die of the game, some dealing D12s, which is the upped dice of the game, but needless to say, they do damage. But the big thing is that they have a break total. So when you pick up the weapon, you roll a 4-sided dice, and depending on the roll of your 4-sided dice depends on how many whacks, how many uses, how many times you can slam someone into it, etc. you can do with that weapon until it breaks. And when it breaks, it is inusable, it will do nothing, and it is just there as a pile of scrap. Simple as. And obviously you've got your classics here, like most of the common weapons are your standard common wrestling weaponry that you'll see everywhere. The steel chairs, the tables, the thumbtacks, the bamboo canes, the sledgehammers, the ladders, the trash cans, trash can lid, trash can barrel, your standard stuff. The uncommon weapons are a little bit more diverse. So you got like light tubes that are mostly used in like the extreme circuits, brass knuckles, baseball bats, large mirrors, large paintings, pipes, wrenches, and even spray cans, because you need some of that classic NWO WCW flair to add into there, which just adds insult to injury. Literally, if you take someone down and then just spray it onto their back like they did to Randy Savage back in WCW. I remember that! Ooh, how dare you. Anyway. And then we have exotic weapons.
Gnarly.
Say that, Foxy?
It was a gnarly event that took place.
Oh, yes it was. And then, exotic weapons. The weapons you want to have, but may not appear a lot. But if they do, you're going to have some fun. So, and Foxy's experienced fun with these in some occasions. So, did you make the game yourself? I have indeed, Costy. And it is still currently in development, and I plan to release it at some point in 2019. Probably the later end in 2019, if not the early end of 2020. That's the goal for me. So, with exotic weapons, you've got guns! Because who doesn't want to use a gun in the wrestling world? Guns have been used in wrestling occasionally. I think the most formidable time a gun has been used in wrestling was with Brian Pillman, and when he had that very dark promo of him becoming a shooter, which didn't last long, and thank God it didn't, because I love him to pieces, and it's still a huge tragic shame that he took his life so easily ages ago. But guns have played a role in the wrestling business. They deserve to be in here, and it's a fantasy game, so why the hell shouldn't they be? But the guns, even though they are devastating, you need to be careful about. Because you need to be very careful about the fact that these guns are going pew-pew bananas in your face. Simple as. And no one likes a pew-pew banana in their face. Unless you are literally firing a banana in their face, then I guess they enjoy it. And so, you have your pistols and your rifles. You have your hidden shivs, which is just in case you're creating a scenario in Ring Warriors where, like, you got to break out of an actual prison and you're having prison wrestling, where people can sneak makeshift weaponry on them. Interesting little tidbit. GMs, write that down. We have lasers! Because lasers! Because the game features robots. We're getting to that later. And if you're thinking, wrestling with robots? Hell friggin' yes. Rock'em Sock'em Robots exists. I wanted to put a little bit of that in a Ring Warriors. You're welcome. And we have 3 paper weapons. Now, if you're wondering what these paper weapons are about, this is a mini homage to the paper they use in actual wrestling, especially more back in the day. They don't use it a lot now, that they use in order to create certain effects. Mostly flash paper, which in the wrestling business was used to create the fireball effect that you see when they do it in someone's face and it blinds them, or it causes burning on them, and then the next week they've got burn marks on their face. It's like, I'm heavily scarred for life, and all that jazz. It's a homage to that, basically. So we have our fireball powder that basically throws a fireball in someone's face, a thunderbolt powder that literally throws a thunderbolt into someone's face, and flash powder itself, which I've changed a little bit, which more so disorientates your opponent and causes status effects to occur instead. What format are you releasing this game? Allow me to give you an example. I plan to release this game, first and foremost, in the classic RPG style of the book. Because, quite frankly, no one does it better than D&D and the other boys out there, such as Mutants and Masterminds, Vampire the Masquerade, Kids on Bikes. The list goes on and on and on. And yes, Kids on Bikes exists as an RPG, and I heavily recommend it. So, first and foremost, my dream is to release this physically as a book for everyone to enjoy. The trick is, depending on how things go, the first priority would be to make it physical in order to help with security details. Depending on the popularity of the game, physical sales will then change into a digital release of a game that's fully PDF viable, that you can then download, have onto your PC, have on your iPad, have onto your phone, so that it's easily transferable around the place, and even start looking into an actual app that people can use that will have, like, you'll be able to, like, roll character stats, roll for moves, have an easy to access move list for you to look into. That's the idea. I presume the game is called Ring Warriors. I wonder, is it the logo, is it the name of the stream, or is it me saying Ring Warriors every 5 seconds, or is it the Ring Warriors logo in the corner of every page of a Word document? I wonder what's the most obvious. What do you guys think? All of the above. Good answer. Generally joking around, don't mean to be a dick. So yes, that's that. I've gone over gimmicks. Gimmicks are pretty much staying the same. I haven't done a lot of new gimmicks because any new gimmicks I create, I want to put as milestones, depending on how the game goes on Kickstarter. The more people invest, the more things they will get. So if you want more races that are playable right off of the bat, if you want more gimmicks to have to run around and go crazy with, show your interest, and I'll shove more in, simple as. A full breakdown on how wrestle points work. I know there are some people out there that have been like, but damn, how do wrestle points work? And as much as I know those people have been a bit curious, I've broke it down for you, so it's easy to understand. So now, wrestle points have a full breakdown. They have a full understanding of how you can use wrestle points, when you can use them, how much it costs to do specific things with your wrestle points, and all that jazz in between. And a full breakdown of climax moves, how to build them, how to use them, how to have fun with them, how to roleplay with them, and how to invest your climax levels to make your climax moves insanely powerful as you level up. Because as you level up as a wrestler, your climax move levels up with you, because nothing says you more than your finishing move, as is wrestling. As well as that, I've also done a little bit more work on the GM section. The GM section is coming along quite well. We've been going over match stipulations, player variations. So what we have here is like single matches, tag team matches, tornado tag team matches, or multi-man matches. Match variations themselves, with standard rules, no disqualifications, unsanctioned matches, tabled matches, steel asylum matches, that are basically steel cage matches, but steel asylums. Steel asylum is more Hell in a Cell, cage is more steel cage. And it is described as to what the differences are, so don't you worry. Ladder matches, on a pole matches, tether matches, over the top matches, battle royales, lumberjack matches. But then we have the specialty matches. More of these to be released soon because I am working on some very interesting ideas. And I can't wait to see if they actually work or not, which I may or may not be testing with the party. Moo ha ha. So, so guys, for you guys, listen closely because you might actually end up in one of these. Well, Foxy already has because one of them's the deathmatch. Where Foxy survived against the Butcher. Oh, sorry, the Killer.
Yeah, and won.
The
And
killer.
one.
Care of that bitch.
Oh, damn. Yes, he did. We also have...
I'm still pissed about him.
Bless you. We also have the Shark Cage match, which has been alluded to in the campaign with Mike Jaws versus Lavanya, which will be happening at some point. It's been confirmed, but when will it drop? Not telling you.
Nice.
All we know is that it is taking place of a Bermuda Triangle whenever. Ooh. Next we have the Volcano match, which is literally throw your opponent into a volcano to win. Fun! The Explosion match, blow up some C4. Basically, it's a standard match, no disqualification rules, but there's C4 explosives put everywhere. The ring ropes have explosives. The corners have explosives. Outside of the ring has explosives. Weapons have explosives. Everything has explosives. Why did I have to make an
explode?
Why did I have to make an explosion match? Look at my username. That's the answer. Done. So, moving on after that, I actually created my own version of the Elimination Chamber. Because I love the Elimination Chamber as a concept, as a gimmick, and most of the Elimination Chamber matches have been amazing, apart from a few. I'm looking at you, December to Dismember, and the Extreme Rules Elimination Chamber, which was god-awful. Don't do it again. But instead of obviously calling it the Elimination Chamber for certain reasons, I'm of course calling it the Chamber of Pain match, which acts very similarly, has some unique twists and turns about it, so that it doesn't come out as a blatant knockoff. It's my own unique version, and it looks really interesting. And then the Feast or Fired match, which is kind of like a homage to how TNA did the Feast or Fired matches, because they had a Feast or Fired tournament, not a match. Again, adapted to kind of work in a match-like setting, with some very interesting things, such as how it basically works is, whoever wins the match, everyone who loses gets randomly associated a suitcase, and the winner can pick whatever suitcase they want, whether it already belongs to a wrestler or is the last one standing. And you can earn like money, a championship opportunity, a piece of equipment, or a contract stating that your wrestler must retire immediately and cannot wrestle professionally ever again. That's an interesting role-playing match for anyone that wants to put 4 players in the ring at the same time and say one of you's going to get fired and retire forever at level 1. If you do that, I do not endorse the action of forcing one of your players to retire their wrestler at level 1. That's very evil. Don't do it. But maybe do it later. I will read that comment in just a moment, actually. I'm actually reading now, screw it. I don't know if there would be copyright issues, I doubt it, but there is an American pro wrestling promo based in Las Vegas. It has a TV show. I'm not sure it's still running, just thinking way ahead and possible affiliation issue. Oh no, I've covered it. Because they're just called Ring Warriors and that's it. My game is specifically called Ring Warriors, the tabletop role-playing game, and has no association directly with any wrestling corporation that uses the term Ring Warriors in any way, shape or form. I checked all the copyright details, I checked all the trademarking details, and I am perfectly covered in every way, shape or form. It is okay. And if there is a legal battle that ensues, I am perfectly covered. So it is fine. With that said, I've also delved into enemy creation, because what is one of the most important parts of wrestling? Creating a series of opponents that both creates drama, as well as engaging matches, and gives babyfaces a reason to fight against heels, or a good guy to face against bad guys, if you don't know the wrestling terms.
Yeah.
So, I've split enemy creation at the moment in 2 different ways. Creating rivals, and adding the whole, and giving players and general managers, as I like to call them in the game, GMs, haha, the way of being able to create unique opponents that can pop up throughout the campaign multiple times, popping up again and again and again after wins, after losses, after whatever happens, even just popping up in street fights, even just like getting goons of his to fight the others. You'll notice this because Mike Jaws is a rival, and he's actually an example rival in the player handbook right now. And in there, they've got unique skills, unique to just being a rival, and I give you like some ideas on how you can delve into really creating unique enemies that are rivals. My specific examples being Mike Jaws, who is in the campaign, and I love him to pieces. I think he's one of my greatest creations. Shashka, which is a Cobra Hissem, taken by the German leagues of wrestling and indoctrinated to believe that German wrestling is best wrestling. And probably one of my other favourites being Deimos, who may or may not appear in the Ring Warriors campaign, I haven't decided yet, who is a volcanic mountain agricon who retired, came back to the ring, accidentally killed the champion that he defeated, and as a result, basically crafted a mask out of, like, you know, like how the Greek statues look with their, like, proper human faces. Basically crafts one, but wears that, like, has basically crafted his face into that. He's had professional sculptures recraft his face into it. And he now walks like a god of the ring, saying that everyone is below him. He is a wrestling god. No one will be able to topple him down. As I said, maybe he'll pop up, maybe he won't. I don't know yet. But after the rival things, unique enemies. These are races or styles. No, specifically races that I've created for the specific act of being enemies. Oh, excuse me, I'm gassy this evening. Oh, much bad. So, for unique races, you will notice that some of these unique enemies are currently being played or may appear in the campaign as we go along. Azarians! Hey! It's Foxy.
Yes.
This is the race that Foxy's currently playing, because I do have a player version of the Azarians ready to go. The trick with them at the moment, though, is that I am not making them a playable race until again, Kickstarter milestones, etc. Give something that the people can get as a reward for showing their support, which I'll gladly give them. So you have the Azarians, you have the Araks that are like spider people, able to do Spider-Man tactics, which are pretty darn cool. The Cybernetics, part man, part machine. Pretty much think of it like Terminators, but wrestling Terminators. Freaking love it. And I love the idea of wrestling Terminators.
Nice.
Nice.
And then you have the Dusks. The Dusks being shadow beings that literally have like they don't seem to belong to any race or any credo, but when they start to wrestle, they actually start to duplicate the person they're wrestling to the point where the wrestler themselves are wrestling a shadow version of themselves who knows every move that they make and all that jazz. Basically think of it as my game's version of doppelgangers, because I love the ideas of doppelgangers and mimics, and I wanted to carry that across but put my own unique style onto it. We have the Urchins. These are more like street hoodies of the Ring Warriors world. The Chavs, if you so wish. But I didn't want to call them Chavs. These guys, basically think of it as they wear their hoods like dark hooded people in the streets, because that's what they do. But when they start a fight, if you dare take off their hoods, you see the dark truth behind them. Of which I will not say, because that is cheating. And if you are reading, then fair enough, you're not cheating, you're just reading. We have the Robonoids. And you may be wondering, what in the blue hell is a Robonoid? My version of a robot in Ring Warriors, because quite frankly, I didn't just want to call them robots, I didn't want to call them androids, I didn't want to call them cyborgs, because every freaking game known to mankind has called them that name under the sun. I wanted to make my own unique stamp on something, and I called them Robonoids, the combination of robot and humanoid, because it makes sense, people. Get it? I hope you do get it, though, because It's cool, okay? You get to fight robots in my game. Freaking robots. It's great.
Only thing I'm gonna say: robots versus wrestlers.
Yes, it is.
From How I Met Your Mother.
It is. Oh, yeah. It is literally going to be like Rock'em Shock'em Robots when it gets to that. And we also have something I'm very interested in seeing play out. Sentais! As in the Super Sentais, inspired by my love of Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, and all things in between. I am really looking forward to trying these guys out. They basically have increased stats if they are in their transformed modes, but they can be knocked out of their transformed modes if their henshin devices get cracked, broken, or taken off at any point during the wrestling match. So now this adds a little bit more dynamic as an enemy to your ongoing party. Do they focus on the person themselves and risk taking some big damaging attacks, or do they play it safe, focus on trying to get off or break or destroy their henshin devices so that they're facing someone normal and not someone powered up? Very interesting. We also have the Solons. These are kind of like the opposite to Dusks, where the Dusks are more like dark shadow beings that duplicate your opponent's moves. The Solons are very much like... if I wanted to make a race that was interesting and a little bit alien. So Solons, they're a little bit alien. They're kind of more birthed on Earth. They're supposed to be teased as some of the original beings that helped create Earth. Some of them stayed and thought it would be a great idea that they turn into fucking gods. And so they prance everywhere. Think of Solons, if you want a example as to my thought process with them. Think of them as Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen. Like an immensely powerful being that emits pure solar energy that can blind you because of how seemingly powerful they are. They don't give a crap about people. They look like Adonises with the six-pack and the amazing bods, and they will body anyone they go in the ring with. That's a Solon in a nutshell. Be prepared. Especially since they can use the sun to heal themselves. Yes, these are the dicks of the wrestling world. At least my wrestling world. The next one is actually one that I'm very interested in seeing play out. You may have seen a tease of this early on in the campaign where we had Metalhead as a part of the party. The Snatcher! I do love the idea of the Snatcher. I literally got this idea as an enemy type. Originally as a player race, which is a player race in the Milestones. Hint, hint. But the Snatcher plays very much like a symbiote from Spider-Man. Because I literally finished watching Venom. I actually really enjoyed Venom. And I thought to myself, no one's really done a race in RPGs that's like a symbiote that catches onto a host, becomes one with the host, and then splits from the host and tries desperately to search for another host body. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting concept. I've played around with it, and I think I've made something really unique and really interesting for everyone to try out, to either go against, or hopefully, depending on the popularity of the game, actually play as, and have a right long time. That's going to be interesting to see. And last but not least, another race that you may have seen known as the Zeitgeist. This was kind of teased early on in the campaign. But the Zeitgeist, think of this as my homage to Stans from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, where these are ghostly beings that are connected via the soul of their host. So, whilst the symbiote is very much part of the host, where the host is sharing its body with the symbiote, and they like take turns, or they agree to do it with each other, or one takes over the other, etc. And it's a constant struggle between one half versus the other half, basically. Zeitgeist is kind of like a stand where it's not necessarily a fight to see who's in control. It's more so you have a bond where you can use each other's abilities to get places. Now with the Zeitgeist, I've made something very interesting as well, as another slight little homage to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures and stand users. When you create a Zeitgeist, you roll a d12 to see what random ability they have. the abilities are named after bands, songs, or albums, just to keep track with how JoJo stands are named, just to keep it interesting. If you know some of them just by looking at the list here, that's fantastic. If you don't, give them a Google search to see what you can find out. And why don't you hit me up on Twitter to see if you get them correctly? If you do, I'll give you some man points because you're a man! And if you're not a man, I will give you some... No, screw it. I'll give you some real-life wrestle points because now we're being gender-specific. And we're getting into an argument far above anything else. We're moving away from that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, that is effectively what Ring Warriors looks like at this moment in time. I hope you didn't mind that mini go-over of how everything is at this moment in time.
Because I noticed a little problem with my stream. It dropped to like almost 50% of the frames.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was kind of problematic.
But we don't want that.
Yeah, I actually did run the optimizer again.
Cool. Right,
So
with the
everything
going...
is-
Okay, sorry, Foxy.
So everything should be golden right about now, but we'll see.
Lovely stuff. So, before we crack on with any campaign bits, because Vinny's on his way in, Christy sadly this week will not be joining us because she is at Comic-Con, and if she is watching this later on, I hope you have a good time, B, had a good time, and C, tell us all about it next time. Right. So before we get cracking, I wanted to go over future of where Ring Warriors is going. As I said earlier, I'm hoping for a late 2019 release, if not a 2020 release of the game for people to enjoy. From there, or even before then, I've still got a lot of work to do. I'm working on the introduction to the Player's Handbook at the moment, and I'll be going in depth about like the world lore, how races have interacted with each other over that time, the descriptions that like major events of the world, such as World War I and World War II, still happened, but they happened more so as huge wrestling events that involved the fate of millions of people, which is absolutely baller. And the whole idea that you have Hitler versus Churchill, winner wins the war match, which is bloody amazing. And I just love that idea and being able to explain that to people about the law of the world. On top of that, I've got a lot more to stretch out upon as to how promo battles work, go into more detail for GMs as to how little specifics work for dice rolling, add a bunch more items in there and whatnot. It's still very much very early days, but the early days are very strong. I am loving how this game's coming along. Loving the support that I'm currently getting for the game, and I hope more support comes in time. Cannot wait to see how this goes, and it is becoming a reality, which is bloody amazing. With that said, I'm all good. The only other thing to announce is that yes, episodes of Ring Warriors will be coming properly to YouTube. I have been trying my hardest to get time to sit down and edit individual episodes. It's not going to work that way. As much as I want to do that, I'm working so much and have barely enough time as it is to do anything, yet alone edit things. Editing takes so long and I take so much pride in my editing that I can't reliably edit an episode after a stream after like the initial day that it's done and reliably get it out the next day or a couple days afterwards on a regular basis. I can't promise that, which is a shame. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back through the episodes of Ring Warriors we have had. Oh, thank you very much, Foxy, for the host. Lovely.
Yeah, my internet is being a bit weird.
Wonky.
Yeah, a bit wonky, so I need to take that box to ISP and
Fair enough.
get it replaced.
Sounds fair. And so, with that in mind, I still want to bring you the streams to YouTube properly. Some of you can still see them, but they're currently classed as unlisted, which is a shame. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make them all public. But what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to go through the back end, and I'm going to edit them using the YouTube editor, which I know some people aren't going to like, but it's the best I'm going to be able to do for the short term. But what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be using the YouTube editor, chopping them up into episodes and their individual parts so that you miss out like the starting soon bits, miss out the be right back screens and all that, so you can just get to the nitty gritty and just have a good time playing it in the foreground, even listening to it in the background, and us just having a really good time with the Ring Warrior sessions themselves. Obviously adding in thumbnails, adding in proper descriptions as to what's happening in the scenarios, and all that jazz as we go along. That's the big plan. I'll be starting that initially this weekend and every weekend hereafter to make sure that we're all up to date and it all looks super swanky from there. And you can then enjoy the episodes whenever you want, all the time, on the YouTube channel, which is amazing. And if you're not watching this on YouTube and you want to know what the YouTube channel is, links are down in the description below. Be sure to check it out. And there you go. Because I know some people have been asking, I want to watch the streams, but I don't get a chance to, and I want to watch it on YouTube, but they don't seem to pop up for me. That's the answer. The answer is they are already on YouTube. They're just unlisted because I tried my hardest to edit the episode, and I just can't realistically do that, at least yet, because of the job commitments that I have. With that all in mind, that's all my updates done, all my development updates done, the roadmap and some teasers as to what's coming soon sorted. And I hope that is okay for you guys. If you've got any more questions as to how the game's going along, any questions about how does this work, have you done this, what about this, or any other questions you may have about the game in general, feel free to ask me throughout the streams that I'm on the social media channels, which again, down in the description below, all that fun jazz. I'm always willing to answer as many questions as I can. Some questions I may not be able to answer fully because I do want to keep things teased, but that's about it. And I hope you guys are hyped. Needless to say,
Yes.
I've done a lot of ranting and talking. We're waiting on Vinny to join us, which shouldn't be too much longer from how we are. We're going to take a quick little break, just so I can get another drink in, and stretch the leggies and all that fun jazz. And when we're back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be if I can actually speak properly. Wow, this is going to look great on the edit. We'll be back in a moment, and we will be continuing the campaign of Ring Warriors as to what happens to the team next. Now they are done in the UK. Or are they? Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. We will find out in a moment. Tune on in, guys. The BRB screen will be up, and when we're back, we'll be kicking it off in just a mo. Have some fun. Chillax. We'll see you in a moment.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home. Far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of this nightmare. But when I stopped to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes down, try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try it. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad sad tonight. I don't have a job to find, and if I work tonight, I'm so tired tonight. I fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home. I was just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare. But when I stopped to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try it. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I on my own way.
And it's the game screen. Yes, it is. Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, welcome. It's Ring Warriors. It's Friday. It is the #1 man with the ironclad, white pale tan, who doesn't mean to be rude, can be a little bit crude, and quite frankly, is gonna get like Rick Rude. Ooh, ravishing. I'm joined by the crazy wrestling crew, as they are Tash as Lavanya Wreckable,
Woo!
Foxy as Liam Cyber O'Reilly.
Oh,
There he is. And Vinny, known as Urg.
So,
Lovely. Sadly, Christy will not be joining us tonight as she's going to Comic Con, and we wish her all the best of fun. Great stuff.
lucky bugger.
Quite luck. Quite luck. Much bugger.
I'm not bitten. I'm not bitter, honest.
No, you're not, Vinny. No. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that all in mind, where are we? What happened? Where are we go? Where are we going? If you played Star Fox Adventures, I'll tell you, little dinosaur dude that I hope wasn't in the game.
Do a barrel roll.
There you go. We are currently in the UK. Why are we in the UK? Because the guys have been tasked to go to the United Kingdom and face off against a huge big boy threat. They took him down. Foxy has now become the new British Strong Style Champion. And that is awesome. And with that being done, it is now time to figure out what is going to happen next. You remember that at the end of the last installment, the World Heavyweight Champion, the one person that everyone has their eyes on, the one person who has the one championship that can literally control the world itself, came on screen, covered who they are, even masked their voice with a voice changer, and basically said that they have changed the rules on what you need to do in order to face the world champion. Now, not any title holder can just say, I've got a title, you've got the world title, let's go at it. Oh no. Now, the world champion is defended as long as there are the world champions underneath him. So effectively, you have to be a world champion in order to face the world heavyweight champion, the man himself, or woman himself, or woman herself. We don't know. Could be anything. Could be anyone. The champion is unknown at this point. That's what's so fun about this. With that said, people in the back have been infuriated. You knew that Mike Knox was watching that announcement with you in the ring in front of all the fans. They're also watching, and he is incredibly pissed off. He is so angry with this maneuver that he has been on the phones. His admin teams of the show have been going nuts. Like, some of the superstars have been in the back after the pay-per-view had finished, after that amazing death match versus Boris the Killer, are just like in outrage. Others are just thinking, right, we've got to like train up a little bit more in order to face the world champions. The complete landscape of the wrestling world now has shifted. And things are gonna get nuts. With that being said, after the match, the Mike Knox himself asked you guys to go back to the ring, which is obviously the little gym you guys have been staying at throughout your time in Britain. You turned up back at the ring. It is in the evening after the show. Foxy, you got that fantastic new belt on your person.
yes.
And now that you are back at the ring, is there anything you guys would like to do, such as interacting with each other or anything else?
I would like to go to see the EMTs about my current health.
Oh yes, very good. Luckily, a medical team did come with you guys because you have been in matches, so it's always worthwhile to make sure your health is okay. So the EMTs check you over. You are now. What is your health like after you battled Boris the Killer?
My health is 9 out of 33 after death save.
Youch! So that is not great. So the EMT specifically focus on you. You've been in a death match. You were so close to the brink of death, but they want to make sure everything's okay. Like there's no broken bones, your heart rate's in order, and all that jazz. So a lot of them are focusing on yourself. Lavanya, what about your health levels? What are they like?
4 out of 46.
Okay, you're not looking great either. So you got like a couple of EMT guys looking over you as well. You're not at that level just as much as Liam is, because Liam was in a death match and was close to the death saves. But you're very much in the care of the right people. And if I'm not mistaken, Erg, I think you're pretty alright.
I took one hit in that battle, and I think I exploded.
Yeah,
should
it was a
be- I
critical hit.
Yeah, it was a critical hit. I took 22 damage, so I'm down to 20 health.
That's a good point. You're not as damaged, but you're still pretty darn damaged. The EMT,
And if I may add, I openly just picked up Liam by the neck, by the scruff of the neck, and took him to the EMTs faster than he could move.
very good. So with you, whilst like some of the more major EMTs are focusing on Lavanya and Liam, there is at the moment just a couple of other EMTs working on you because they're not too used to working on agricons. They're not too sure what they can actually do. So
I just imagine I can imagine it's not EMTs tending to work. It's a couple of like model plane builders, and they've just got the glue and they're just gluing rocks onto me.
just got there. Just like, hello, super glue. We're gonna need more rocks.
Points at a bottle of Airfix.
Like the fun part about agricons is that, especially when they've like exploded and their like bodies come out and they've got bits missing or shrapnel that's now gaps inside of them, etc. Agricons actually naturally regenerate their given rocks over time. But with the EMTs, one of them's scurrying through like an iPad, just looking at best ways to treat agricons through Google. But they actually work out that one of the best remedies that agricon can actually have is by getting polished. So what they're effectively doing is they're going over like your rocky exterior, polishing parts of your rocks to make sure they are clean, and the cleanliness actually helps your regenerating process. That's great.
Nice. My polished rock hard abs.
Exactly. The night falls, the EMTs work their asses off. You awaken. You are back to your full potential. Meaning you have recovered all your hit points, by the way.
Woo!
Yes.
The EMTs are a little bit knackered, but they're happy they've done a good job. They leave you guys to it. The only thing you guys have not heard anything about, you have not heard anything about Eric. After he was viciously taken down by the man himself, Mike Jaws.
Oh shit. Yeah, I would like to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
Do I sense a hospital trip going?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the hospital. Healthcare. Right. Needless to say, you guys feel as if, okay, we're all good. What the heck's happening about Eric? You find out one of the local hospitals is housing him for the moment, and you head on down there. And when you head on down there, you're at the opening of the hospital itself. There's a bunch of chairs being filled up by people using the accident and emergency services. You got like some doctors and nurses running about the places, some porters, and all that jazz. And then you have the main reception in front of you guys, where if you wanted to ask where Eric is, you can.
Yeah, well, seeing as Lavagna's kind of taken Eric under her, well, wing, or in her case, boa constrictor tail.
Yeah.
Under your tail tillage.
Ah, your age.
Yes. She'll go up to the receptionist and goes, hey, I don't suppose you have a Eric Dance, in this place, do you?
The nurse taps away. I do some wacky tappy onto her keyboard. As she does some typey bits on her keyboard, it comes up on her screen saying, "Ah, yes, Mr. Dance. He was very badly injured, taken to needing immediate medical assistance. He is currently on the East Wing."
Alright, and, how do we get to the ward he's on?
And that's when you see a porter coming on by, hearing about the East Wing. He's like, I know where you guys are going. Just follow me.
Okay, thank you very much.
So he just
He just gives a big thumbs up to the nurse
nice.
Yeah.
receptionist.
So the porter guides you through the hospital. It's quite busy. From times you avoid people that are just being carried over in their beds, being rushed into intensive care or something along those lines. As you're brought to a solemn corridor that just seems to be quite quiet, quite solemn. And as you're down this corridor, the porter goes, "The guy you're looking for is in here. I must warn you, don't think they want anyone visiting him at the moment."
Right, well... yeah, sorry, speaketh who I was going to speaketh.
I wasn't going to speak. I'm just going with the game currently.
Berg's just gonna stroll straight in,
Yeah, Lavagna's gonna, follow. It's like,
as if the porter said nothing. He's just gonna walk straight past, oblivious.
Okie dokie.
Well, yeah, we'll just follow, and it's like, I don't like hospitals, but they do their job quite well, actually.
Fair enough. So the porter just sees you guys go in. He's about to raise a hand as if to go, maybe we shouldn't go in there. But then he's realizing he's messing with a buff Hissen, a really big rock guy, and a fox that looks like he knows his way around about. He just thinks to himself, no. And he just keeps walking away and lets you guys go in. You go in. And as you go in, there's big, one of those big, crashy open doors where you can just barge it through a bed and it just opens.
yeah.
As you go through those doors, Eric is in his own solitary bed in the middle of this room that's very lightly lit in order to be sensitive to him. He's attached to all these different machines that seem to be doing all these different things for him. You also have the regulator machine that also that shows his current heart rate and the fact that he is alive, he is okay, but the fact that he's attached to so many machines just makes you think that the damage was incredible.
Lavant... Yeah, I'm trying to describe this in such a way that doesn't give too much away, but at the same time shows the true feelings of what is going on. Lavanya is suddenly hit by a memory, a specific memory, which is very similar to what she is seeing in front of her, but it's a different person in the hospital bed.
Right.
And her fists just sort of clench as she remembers this.
Damn.
Is he like unconscious at the moment?
Why don't you roll me a toughness check? See if you can identify that.
Okay. Toughness check. Okay, so that's going to be
D20 plus your toughness stat.
okay.
And everyone can
That's
do
a
this if you want,
21.
just to see if everyone wants to do it.
I mean, Erg wasn't
Yeah.
going to check. He was just going to blurt, wave, and shout, "Hello!"
20 plus.
But I'll roll just in case.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a 21 for me.
10 for me.
where is my D20? There is my D20. That is a 17 plus my toughness, which is 5, so 22.
Lovely. Lavanya and you pretty much get it. Liam, you're not too well versed with hospitals. You've got that dislike of hospitals, so when it comes to identifying if someone's unconscious when they're attached to machines or not, you're pretty comfortable that you're kind of not as well versed.
Yeah.
Lavanya and Erg, you like have a quick eye at like the machines that are around him. And his complexion, because being in enough battles and scrapes on your own, you're able to identify if someone is unconscious or not. And you can tell that he is still unconscious. You don't know how deep into unconsciousness that he is, but he is not awake.
How many chairs are in the room?
To be honest, there was actually no chairs to be found in this room. It's like as if any chairs that were in this room have been purposely removed.
Oh, shiza.
I mean,
So
Erg can basically become a chair. He
So
makes a
we
good chair.
are kind of keeping it the way that nobody can hurt Mike Jaws with any Eric, with anything like chairs or tables or stuff like that.
You could say that that's one way of thinking about it. In fact, why don't you roll me a smarts check to see if you can't work out why they would do such a thing?
Oh no!
Oh,
Erg's favourite stat.
okay.
I get a whole
smart.
1 point to this.
Yeah.
Oh my
Smart,
god!
smart.
I rolled 17 in total.
Hey.
Oh.
Anyone,
Okay. Yeah. Let me. No. 8.
So, Lavanya, you're just so like passionately engrossed in the unconscious Eric that you don't stop to think. You're just in that zone of your own.
Yeah.
For the other two, however, Liam and Erg, as much as you can understand why maybe chairs have been taken out in case like Mike Jaws or anyone that's malicious comes in to finish a job that they might have wanted to commit onto him, they may have gotten rid of chairs for that reason. However, looking down onto the floor of the room, you would think that if chairs were removed, they would be lifted by appropriate people and taken out. But you notice
Yes.
skid marks on the floor left when a chair is just dragged across the floor, as if to suggest that at first someone was like screeching the chairs away before lifting them away, suggesting there may have been other reasons.
That's kind of weird.
Now, because your smart checks were actually alright as well, you do notice one other thing. You notice a
Oh.
machine that's not quite as medical as you are as versed to be. Don't get me wrong, hospitals are a little bit high-tech, their machines are very unique unto themselves, but there's one machine that doesn't seem to be like a medical device, like a dilation machine, or anything that tracks like heart rates, or anything along those lines. All you notice about this machine is that it seems to be a device used to implant something.
Is it like this isn't in character or anything? Is it the machine that? Well, is it going to give him the chemical that made the other people super roidy?
No. You
Okay.
with your high enough smart stats, you're actually able to identify that this has nothing to do with those drugs.
Okay.
So
That was my
it seems
first
to be
worry,
that
that they were
that
gonna do something
drug-like
horrible.
incident was very unique to Atlanta and where you were back
Okay.
in Atlanta.
That because Erg rolled high, he just had fleeting moments of intelligence there.
Oh, just like you have with a campaign where it's like,
Just like
it's like,
he's like
"Ah!"
5 seconds, and in his brain, just a little thing woke up, going, "Oh my god, I have intelligence. What is going on? Something's going on," and he's dead.
You just have like one of those Sherlock Holmes moments where you've completely sussed it, and then someone's like, "How do you know that?" Know what?
I was in Erg's mind cave for a minute.
There you go. The mind cave. I love it.
Yes.
So with that in mind, things seem a little bit weird. Why would there be an implant machine in a hospital room where all they needed to do was to make sure that Eric was okay? He clearly seems to be okay. All the machines are reading good outputs and he's green across the board. But why is that machine still here? Curious, sir. When
Could
you
I get
notice...
a closer look at it? Or...
Yes, you can actually. Go up close. You approach closer to the machine, and as you do, it just seems to be like on a little wheelie table. And on the wheelie table, it's kind of like a precision pair of goggles that the surgeons have to put on in order to carefully look into the human body and see where they're going. And then what seems to be a robotic arm controlled by a little device that carefully implants tiny materials into the human body. That's as far as you're able to identify.
Erg just looks back at people and shrugs.
I will say one thing, however. Liam, you did get a slightly higher score than Erg. Are you also investigating the machine a little bit closer, or...?
Yes.
Okay. You're also looking at the machine in a little bit more detail. And
Just beckons. Yeah.
you notice a name. You notice a name that's a little bit undescribable to you. You can't seem to pronounce it. All you're able to find out is that the name is German. Or it seems to be spelt in German.
That is not good.
Don't you mean that's good?
What do you
Because
mean?
we are in UK hospital and there is a German name on this thingamabob.
Oh. What does it say?
I cannot pronounce the name correctly.
So what?
Um,
A lot of the stuff is made in China and they get exported to different countries all the time. So what's different about this?
They might have something to do that Eric might be a bit in trouble.
Has there ever been any precedence in the Ring Warriors sort of canon of there being German scientists and stuff like that?
Not yet. You know that, I'll tell you what, if you want to actually know if Erg or any of you guys know anything about German science in the world itself at this moment in time, why don't you roll me a wits check?
Oh, wits, I can do wits. I have a
wits,
4 in
wits.
wits.
Okay.
Ooh, I think I have a 4 in wits.
That's 9.
Nope.
No.
25.
That's great.
Oh, wow.
I rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Sweet.
Brilliant. Right. Liam, as much as you were able to identify the German make of the device, as far as you're aware, German science is German science. There you go, in a nutshell. Lavanya, and Erg in this case, you know that at this moment in time, when it comes to German science in the current landscape of the world, it's very much highly respected across the board, being that medical science, construction, in many different environments. Germans just seem to be killing it right now when it comes to innovative research into certain areas of construction and all that jazz. But, Erg, you critted. You know something very big. This may have been like on one of your TV sessions where you're chilling out with your family, when it was like an advert in between wrestling matches that your dad was introducing you to for back in the day. But one of the adverts that you remember seeing when you were younger as a kid was like some of these infomercials where they're talking about new technologies and new things you can purchase and all that jazz. It's kind of like an infomercial, but more so an infomercial about new technology that's going to be gradually brought in to the world itself. And it was a German device created by a professor just known as Professor Strongham.
Alright. Yeah, the Erg is just gonna suddenly freeze, close his eyes, just start banging himself on the head as if he's trying to knock something into place, and just put his finger in the air like he's got something. I've got something. What was the name?
Strongham.
And he just blurts out, Strongham. Erg watched TV earlier. Strongham. Earlier means years.
Okay.
Strongham? What?
Science. German science. Strongham.
Okay. So, what is Strongham?
This machine, Strongham. That's all he knows, I think.
With that in mind, looking back at that machine, where you see that German word that was spelled there, you actually see the name Strongham underneath it.
Okay.
Erg smiles because he's just smugly remembered something.
Love it.
Strongham.
With this being said, all of a sudden you hear like a crashing noise coming from behind you, as if the doors are opening.
Oh.
You have that initial door that opened on your way in, and then the double doors slam open as you see a man with white hair, slightly spiky, but most of it like quite smoothed out, in a lab coat with a pair of glasses on, with two big gentlemen on either side of him. Erg, you realise that these two big gentlemen that are wearing suits aren't actually human or any other races. They are Agricons.
Erg just stepped in between the guys that have just come in and Liam and Lavanya, sort of making a big rocky barrier between the two in case anything does happen, because he knows what Agricons can do personally.
When you do that, the two Agricons supporting this scientist step forward and kind of like match up to you. These, like, you're quite a big Agricon. Like, in height-wise, what height would you say Erg is?
I would say that, given how tall hospitals usually are, Erg is still ducking. He has to be squatting at all times in the hospital. He's quite tall. I'd say close to maybe nearly 3 meters tall.
Okay.
Jesus.
So if we're talking
which is, by the way, why during the first season I was laughing so hard about the fact that nobody noticed a stealthy rock.
So, like, if we were putting it into feet-wise, how many feet would you say Erg was, roughly?
About 9 foot.
Okay. These guys are about 11 to 12 feet. Like, if you're ducking, these Agricons have developed themselves in such a way so that their rocks are naturally bent down, as if they have naturally molded themselves to the size of a room. So they are huge, expanded out a little bit more to make sure that their large frames are able to actually stand in the same room that you were in. You see these two guys just staring you down as if to be intimidating, as the scientist just comes up from behind him and just goes, Boys, stand away, please! Step away from the people. Oh, God. What are you supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be defending me and not trying to aggravate some clearly emotional people that are here to seek to a friend. Ah, allow me to apologize. My associates here, they are my close bodyguards. I am quite important to the world of medicine and science as a whole. So these are sure to protect me in dire situations.
Gives a little nod, steps back half a step, and just says, "Your name?"
Oh, allow me to apologize. Oh, it's been one of those days. I do apologize. My name is Alfred von Strongham. Nice to meet you.
And then at that moment, as soon as he hears that name, his eyes light up, his arm flies out, and his arm's in the other arm's in the air. He's like, "Oh my god, I know you!
Yeah.
He's all giddy.
Like, you just shake him uncontrollably for a bit, but it's not the first time.
It's him! I told you, it's him.
Like, you kind of shake him uncontrollably, but it's not the first time he's had an uncontrollable shake. As he is able to calm down after the strong shake, and just goes, "Oh, another fellow Agricon. Oh, great shake that you got there. Very strong. Oh, I swear, if I need another bodyguard, I know exactly who to go to next, yes?"
Sorry, Liam. My bodyguard, I'm Liam's.
Great. Now I wonder, now what are you guys doing, seeing to young Eric dance over here?
We are just worried about him.
Ah,
And
bless it.
also, I am Liam, who was mentioned earlier.
Ah, lovely. Great to meet you, Liam. Ah, interesting to meet an Azalian this far. I've seen a few in
Yeah.
Great Britain, but it is always nice to meet a new one. I do
I'm
not see a lot of Azalians now in German.
just visiting.
Okie dokie, that's absolutely great. And what about yourself, Snake Lady?
The name's Lavanya. The name's Lavanya. And yeah.
Oh, it's nice to meet you as well. Oh, I do apologize again for that cruel incident. I do not wish to be a pain. I understand that Eric does have friends. I have specifically requested that a lot of his friends and family do not visit him at this time, as we are making sure that Eric is 100% okay before he has the receivings of guests.
Why?
We were there when he got hurt.
Oh, you are must be his friends from the wrestling. Oh, wait a
Yes.
minute. You're not the crew who were at that wrestling show the other day. Wait a minute. You're the Atlanta State champion, and you're the new Strong Style champion.
Yes.
I know who you guys are now. You are great. What a
And
show.
I am Herb.
What an amazing time. I get to meet some fleeing new wrestling stars on their way to the top. Fantastic. But yes, it is not too great, I'm afraid. When Eric was brought over here, they were very worried about his state of mind. He was very, very heavily damaged. Most of his body was quite heavily destroyed, including most of his bone structure. A lot of the British surgeons did a great job keeping him alive, but they were very worried about his integrity of his bones. That's why they asked me to come along with my associates, because I had the technology to try and rebuild him.
Would rocks help?
Well, sadly, my friend, even though you have very good point, Agricons do have some great regenerative capabilities. I have not yet been able to harness those capabilities and turn them into something that maybe non-lock beings could use. But I was able to use my medical science to help out the surgeons in making sure that his bone structure will gradually regenerate in a different way.
With what sort of stuff?
Oh, well, I would love to go into details, but I cannot divulge a lot of information. A lot of this is still very secret and is a little bit more medically technical, but maybe you'll be able to understand. I do apologize.
Will he be the same Eric?
My friend, you can guarantee. Eric will be the same man he was before going into that match. He will be right as rain, and before you know it, he will be able to go back into that wrestling ring faster than you can say Shmokov.
I can't say. He fails at saying it.
It is okay. German language, it is quite difficult at times. You may get there eventually.
He won't.
Yes.
Guarantee he won't.
You notice that one of the guards guards the doors, whilst the other one just seemingly starts to stand in front of the machine you guys were eyeing up earlier.
Might I ask, what does that machine do exactly?
Oh, you mean this little blue beauty I brought from me all from
Yes.
Germany? Allow me to explain. This is a revolutionary new device that allows surgeons to get little microgrammic images into a person's body. Allow me to properly explain. I cannot go into a lot of detail, but I will at least give you the nitty-gritty. Basically, surgeon will put on goggle. He will then guide the robotic arm with specific instrument or injections required in order to help the human body. With this, they are able to be as close to the point of accuracy as possible, giving you 99.99% accuracy on any sort of procedure that is needed, to the extent where you can work on the tiniest of blood veins with the perfect of accuracy.
Interesting.
Yes, sadly I cannot put into detail what is actually in this bad boy, or else I would be, well, giving away my ideas, you understand.
Yeah, and I know how the copyright law is.
Ah yes, a very terrifying evil that stalks us to this day, I'm afraid.
Yes.
What is he doing? Points at the agricon near the machine.
Oh, don't you worry about him. My associates are tasked on a few different things. They are tasked to make sure that I am fully protected, as well as to make sure that any of the devices that I have brought with me to the United Kingdom are also protected. So do not be afraid. He is just simply making sure that the property belonging to me is completely safe. It's not to mean that any of you are dangerous at all. It is just something that he knows he has to do.
Ah.
So at this moment in time, you notice that the doctor is going up to Eric, like checking his pulse, checking a bunch of the machines to make sure they're all working properly, and generally making sure that Eric is in a good state. So he seems to have a good demeanor about him, as if he genuinely wants to help.
Ah. Well, this is out of character, and that is nice.
Lavanya's just gonna leave the room without saying anything.
Okay, the agricon that's guarding the door blocks your way as the doctor looks up and just goes, "Oh, if any of you are thinking of leaving, that is perfectly fine. Associate, please, let them go through if they need to leave. It has been a pleasure seeing you."
Doesn't
Likewise.
trust the agricons at all, but he doesn't say anything.
Alrighty. Are you all leaving the room at this point?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay.
Just turns around to Eric, knowing he's unconscious, and just says, "Be well," and then walks out.
Cool. And as you guys head out, the agricon defending the door just steps in the way again, and it's like as if his body just shifts again, as his whole body is now just blocking that door. There is no way to get back in. And as
Yeah,
you come,
Lavan.
And sorry, before I
No, I was
let you
going to say
guys go.
Lavanya just keeps walking without saying anything.
Cool. As you go through the other doors and you're back onto that corridor again, some of you look back towards the windows where you could look in and see Eric. As you see the professor again just checking over Eric and the machines. As you see one of his associates just switching the blinds of the room around so that now no one can look inside.
I don't trust him. I don't
I don't
trust
trust
him.
him at all. I really don't trust him at all.
Those agricons were bigger than me, and I'm big.
Yeah, I'm not 100% trusting either, so
I mean, I'm saying this out of character. Like, Lavanya's just still seething with rage.
Liam is actually saying it in character and is actually looking around that can he see like was there like cameras in the room?
When you were in that room and with the checks that you did do while you were in there weren't any like surveillance cameras in that room. But you do notice that there is a surveillance camera in this very corridor that you're in.
Are you thinking of hacking it? Out of character, this is.
Maybe.
Because it might. Because in character, Erg just goes, "Are there any cameras?" And you spotted that one. He just like says something along the lines of, "Could we see them go out the last time?"
Probably. I believe there is at least 24 hours backup. Because everything, or actually even longer, because usually the hospitals keep like few days to few weeks of footage to see if there is anything suspicious.
What happened to the chairs?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm curious about as well.
Well, why? If you do want to do anything, why not do it? It's up to you.
I'm actually going to like Liam is thinking very hard that he would need an access point out of sight to get like a good view of the cameras.
Do you want to provide a really big cover? Because I could stand in a doorway and stop anyone getting nearby or seeing in.
Yeah, that might be one way to do it. Should we ask the security if we could kind of see what has happened so far? Because, well, as we are not just champions. We do have the diplomatic immunity and the things that come along with it.
That is a very good point. Very good point indeed. You can approach this in a multitude of different ways. It's up to you.
We could always lie about our identities and try and pretend to be security guards or something.
You can. Me and Lavanya can't. We are quite known in the world right now.
Erg doesn't have the intelligence to come up with a plan like this, so like it would be a case of you two would have to come up with it. But I can think like, I don't know, you brief Erg in what to say to them, and he's basically be like, "These two think they have information. We need to check the records."
Actually, Liam is thinking about things, and he is like, I am the strong style champion here in UK. I think I have a little bit more pull on my hands what comes to Britain right now. So I could just go straight up and ask the head of security.
That could work.
Can.
And Liam is just starts marching towards the security desk and says to the clerk there, I need to see the head of security.
Okay, like you'll have the security desk, you ask that, and the guard that's at the desk just goes, is this a matter of security, sir?
Yes, but there is the matter of security and the cameras. I want to see what has happened in a specific time frame.
And he just types some bits on his like keyboard that he has in front of him, and then he just goes, "Do you have the proper authorization, please, sir?"
I am currently leading the champ. I am the champion of UK, so I think my political powers would be enough to get the authorization.
All right. So what he does at this point is like he asks like some standard questions like your name, date of birth, puts that into like his system, and then he comes up on his system as current UK strong style champion, and he's like, "Okay, sir, authorization completed. Are these associates with you?"
Yes, they are.
Okay, they all have authorization to go in with you since you are the champion. That's fine. Okay, if you'd like to follow me, my head of security will be with you in a minute.
Right.
He stands up from his desk, opens up a door behind him, and asks you guys to go through where you have the security room with the CCTV TV setup that they have with all the cameras of the hospital.
And at this point, I ask that how big of backups, how much backups do you keep in this hospital?
Now, with our backups, we can normally go as far as 72 hours with our live footage. But then with our pre-recorded footage, we can look back days, weeks, even months.
Let's go as far back as Eric Danza arrived in this hospital in pretty bad condition.
Okay, so since yesterday evening, sir?
Yes.
Okay, he takes the reins, sits on like this big chair in front of you guys with like a bunch of these like prime monitors in front of you. Works his magic, and then on a big screen in front of you, it focuses on a few specific areas where Eric Dance has been through when he came in.
All right.
He starts playing the footage, and what you see is a transition of him coming through the main doors on a hospital bed with an ambulance team, being carted through parts of the hospital, going through and through that corridor that you guys were in prior, and into said room where a bunch of doctors, nurses, you name it, and medical kit is going in to that room. You see like a lot of emotion going around the place, the ambulance teams eventually leaving the room, and a bunch of stuff occurring. You see the time codes, and then you see that nothing seems to be happening for a set period of time.
All right.
And
nothing is in like frozen, or nothing is in nobody's there.
nothing is in. There doesn't seem to be like any movement after the ambulance team had left. At this moment in time, the security guard looks back and just goes, "Would you like me to fast forward, sir?"
Yes, for to the moment that there is something happening.
Okay. He presses like a button in order to fast forward the footage a little bit until some action happens. A couple of hours pass, and then you see a doctor coming out of the room. It doesn't look anything like Strongham, but it looks more like British. He's actually an elven doctor that comes out of the room. He's got like his scruffs on. It's obvious that this was one of the doctors that was a part of the surgery. His scruffs has some slight like blood on him, not a lot, but considerable amounts to obviously show up on CCTV. As you see him go into a pocket.
Right there.
Ooh.
Who is that doctor?
That is, if I remember correctly, that's Dr. Swansong, sir.
Okay.
He's been one of our loyal doctors for years of this surgery.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, you just see the doctor go into his pocket, take out a mobile phone, like tap on the mobile phone a little bit, and have his phone against his ear, as it looks like he's making an important phone call. He's just chatting away. He's chatting. He only seems to be talking for like a few minutes, as he turns his phone off, puts it back in his pocket, and goes back into the room, where again nothing seems to transpire of notice on the CCTVs of yours. Would you like me to fast forward again, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. Seems to be like a couple of hours has passed at this point. Now we're getting into like the early morning, kind of going into dusk at this stage. Oh, sorry, dawn at this stage. And in these early hours, you then suddenly see in the reception 2 large suited agricons and a scientist in front of them, with a very similar look to Strongham.
Okay.
You see him interact with the person on reception. The person on reception then grabs a porter to escort the doctor over, and you notice that one of the agricons is carting along a large table. The large table has a big tarpaulin over it that seems to be covering all the contents that are both on it and potentially underneath it.
Is it about the same size as the machine that went into the room?
Strangely enough, this is actually a different size table.
Oh.
So this may be holding the machine as well, but you're pretty convinced that this is a unique thing. There was no signs of a table this big that will be holding this much, whatever it's holding. Where you were walking.
Kinda seems suspicious.
You follow the CCTV closely as it goes closer to the corridor. One of the agricons helps pushing the big table into the actual room where the surgery is taking place. Because at this moment in time, no one's left the surgery. They've obviously stayed in there to make sure Eric is stable. As you see the professor going in there with the equipment, pushing it for the remainder of the way, as the 2 agricons just stand outside of the room as if they're like on bouncer guard duty on the outside. And at that moment in time, as the doctor has gone in with that, you see the doctor's head pop out of the door as he like gestures towards one of the agricons that looks at him. As you see one of the agricons walk away, go back through the reception area, etc., and goes off CCTV for what seems to be a few minutes. And then when you see him come on, he's pushing another table with a tarpaulin on it that seems to be the similar size to the device that was in the room.
Okay, so we have 2 machines. One is a bogey. We don't know anything about it, other than how it looks.
The first table, roll the rough dimensions.
Yes.
Of it.
The rough dimensions of it, it's if we were to put it into consideration, trying to find a good way of explaining it. So think of it as like sizes of when it had something big to refer this to. That sucks.
Like, compared to the size of a normal hospital bed.
Like, okay, in comparison to the size of a hospital bed, like if you took like the top half of a hospital bed, that would be the size of the table that the device is sitting on, for example. The
Okay.
size of a table that they were carrying before bringing in the device is the entire length of a bed.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm very suspicious, but I would never have the intelligence to work anything like that out.
And hello,
Yeah,
Gothic, by the way,
but-
who's joining us this evening.
Ah, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, with that in mind, would you like to continue watching the CCTV?
Yes.
Okay. You keep watching. Nothing seems to be happening for a while. You do notice one thing, however. One of the windows that is next to one of the Agricons standing duty outside of the room they're operating in, obviously. You just see flashes of light. It's like quick flashes, as if they're like sparks.
Okay, that even raises even more questions. So, Lavanya, what are your thoughts about this?
I want to say that Lavanya left the hospital to go back to the ring.
Okay.
That's fair.
Like, she's just
You're
that
just like so
angry.
frustrated in
Mm,
that mindset.
Yeah.
As things progress on the CCTV, Liam is actually going to like call up Lavanya and just say like, "You cannot believe what we saw in the CCTV."
Oh man, yeah. Part of me's like, would she like?
Would you pick up the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she's probably haven't gone too far.
Mhm.
Like,
Like it might be like standing
Yeah.
outside the hospital getting some air.
yeah, she'll pick up the phone, be like,
Yeah.
Lee, you could just call me back and you could just call me back inside or come out to talk to me.
Oh, you're outside.
Well,
So-
I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I was still walking at the time, but
Yeah, you didn't like Lavanya didn't say anything. She just fell back.
She
Like-
just slithered off.
Yeah,
yeah, she just slithered off.
and
Like a
just as Liam calls and Lavanya says this, he will like say like, "Okay, I will come outside, and it because I have something to tell you."
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And
All right.
for the security guard, Liam says to Og, like, "Stay with him here. I will be right back. I'll just get like Lavanya because it seems he's not with us."
Was that first table look like a bed to you?
Maybe.
I'm worried.
I will be right back, but I will get Lavanya because I think she needs to see this.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Liam just goes outside and finds Lavanya, and
Yeah, you just see her sort of like taking a breather, like outside the hospital and that.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, we found something which you might find interesting. I just need to confirm my suspicions, and I need you to do it.
Fine.
And then he just walks in with Lavanya, and
Yeah, Lavanya's going to follow
secure the
him.
room. Okay, so Mr. Security Guard, can you reverse a bit where the first table came in?
Yep, certainly, sir. He pushes a few buttons and rewinds it all the way back, re-showing the footage of when Strongham came in with the initial interaction with reception and carrying across the large bedside table.
Did it look as though it had anyone underneath? Like,
You notice that the tarpaulin is covering everything up to the wheels, so you can't really identify anything that could be on the table.
Is there any like shape to it, or is it like something over something like a?
Looking at
like a
it,
box?
it's kind of like rickety in shape. Some of it's high, some of it's low. It looks like a mishmash of shapes and orientations. It kind of looks like if someone made like a diorama of like a mountain range with different like size and shapes of rocks.
oh
It's
yeah,
just
I know. what you mean.
mangled to one another.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
this seems a bit weird because we didn't see this specific thing in the room.
No. No, we didn't.
And then there's this other footage which they bring in the machine we saw.
Yes, sir. And so, fast forwards the footage again. Shows the moment where Strongham came out, interacted with the Agricon. Agricon went, brought the another smaller tarpaulin table with the shape of the machine on it, going into the room.
So what do you think they're up to?
I have a little sneaking suspicions they would maybe enhance Eric in some way, or then they might be sinister pieces of work who are, well, not in good intentions.
Where did that big table go?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Where did the big table go? After all, we didn't see it.
Would you like for me to continue the footage, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay, he keeps playing after where you last left, with like the odd little sparks coming through the window, and there seems to be like an extra like couple of hours into now like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. rough area of time. You see like a collection of doctors, nurses, including the professor himself, coming out of the room, like shaking each other's hands, giving each other a pat on the back for like jobs well done. The Agricons still standing side by side to the door, but giving enough space for everyone to come and out. The professor seems to be like gesturing as if to reassure to everyone that these guys were out there, as if to not let anyone disturb what was going on in that room. As the doctors themselves head off, the professor seems to hover around the doors for a moment, interact with his Agricons, as he goes back into the room and carry out or starts pushing out that long table from before. But you'll notice for the long table now, still having the tarpaulin over it, is much lower in size, so it's not as all over the place with different size and shapes, etc. But seems to have still a few bounds in it, but very small bounds.
That that is something we would need to almost someone to investigate or investigate ourselves. What do you think?
It's at this moment in time that Lavanya is going to walk down the east wing where they were shown, go up to the door where Eric's Eric is being held, and she's just going to start punching the door over and over again, like just shouting, like just shouting, like, "Let us in! Let us in! God damn it, let us in!" Yeah, just keeps punching and punching the door, like, just sort of screaming, "Let us in! Let us see Eric!" Sort of thing.
Can Erg just sort of do a running shoulder barge at the door if they won't let us in?
Well, first things first. Lavanya, you're punching that door. Roll an attack on the door with a punch.
Okay, with power, I presume.
Yes.
23.
Oh. So
wow.
the initial door getting into Eric's room since you guys left has been locked. So you're punching that thing down first. You're just looking at the door and you're like, door, smish. You break that door in and it swings wide open, knowing that the next door you've got to go to will most likely have a big Agricon in front of you.
Running shoulder barge.
Okay, Erg. Roll it. Be D20 plus your power.
Bear in mind my power's 8. Oh shit, where's my dice gone? I rolled 23.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So it's like as if you did a step back gesture, got your shoulder, rammed that door, expecting there to be like a rocky Agricon in your way to barge. You actually smash through the door with nothing holding you back. And as you burst into the room, you notice there's one big difference now. Eric's not here.
Yeah.
Eric.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Our next mission, let's find Eric.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna frickin' look for Eric.
Yes.
What's in the room? Anything in the room? Are there any open places up against the walls or anything like that they clear?
Okay, so you notice that this place has been stripped clean. All the machines who were here checking on Eric's vitals and everything have all been taken out. Nothing has been left in there, and especially that little device that you've seen through the CCTV and in the room has also been taken as well. As far as you're aware, this room is empty. The only thing that hasn't been taken are the enforced wall lighting that they use for surgical procedures, but that's it.
So the walls are bare. There is nothing in there at all.
Nothing to suggest a thing, but why don't you roll me a smarts check and see if you can see anything, or possibly search for anything?
Why did it have to be smarts?
You gotta be smart, Erg. You gotta do the thing.
Sod your smarts. I rolled 18. My rolls have been really good today.
Yes.
Yes. So, how much was the roll? Because Discord kind of made you sound like a robot for a moment.
I rolled I rolled a 17 plus my 1.
Oh.
18. How did you other guys do?
Oh, I didn't roll. Bear with me.
So that it was what roll was it?
It's D20
Smart.
plus your smart.
Okay.
But Vanya is so full of rage that she's not giving a shit about like whatever was in the room. She
14.
rolled an 8.
Ouch. And a 14 from you, Liam.
Yes.
Okay. So, Lavanya, Liam... No, Lavanya's in a rage. You're not concerned about trying to find what's happened. You're just pissed off that something's going on. Liam, you do a mini search around the place. You just can't seem to decipher anything, really. Erg.
Mm-hmm.
You notice something clear. Only you could detect something like this, because you know what this is. You find a rock.
A rock.
But specifically,
Just
this
stands.
is... So this is bearing in mind, we haven't actually learned this about Erg. What, like, coloured rock is Erg?
I always imagine Erg to be a fairly sort of reddish rock, not quite sort of. It's somewhere between grey and Ayers rock, sort of.
I get you. It's like that
Right.
bridge of, like, red rock mixed with, like, a bit of grey rock.
Think like Mars, but the brightness has been toned down a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. Like a red ashy rock.
So it's sort of saturated.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's the one.
Lovely. Well, this rock that you have, you would know if it's yours or it got chipped off when you did the shoulder barge because you'd be able to identify it. This is not yours. This doesn't belong to you. This must belong to one of the other
Perhaps the
agricons that
same
was in
colour
here.
as the. Yeah.
Because the colour of this rock is just black.
Hmm.
Pure black rock.
The Vanya's
Did Erg at all? Was Erg able to identify what sort of agricon those big ones were?
Well, those agricons are just by like holding the rock in your hand. As an agricon, you're naturally in tune with nature and all other agricons. So you can easily identify what those agricons are on the spectrum of where they are. With this black rock in hand, like you give it like a good feel, like a weight test in your hand,
Give it a
etc.
little sniff.
Little sniff, go on. And you realise it's this black because the agricon in question is a volcanic agricon.
Oh.
I mean,
that's what
it makes sense.
Hmm.
Lavanya's like,
Just
Lavanya-
turns around and relays everything in his broken English. Just this rock, volcanic agricon. Were either of the two agricon guards perchance volcanic agricons?
They were both volcanic agricons.
This rock, volcanic agricon. Those agricons, volcanic. This rock must belong to them. They were still. Where are they? And Erg starts getting a bit pissed off, and that is going.
Oh, we got a bit roboty there.
okay.
I think Discord might be having a fart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Discord was having a fart. Don't you worry.
Yeah. It's at this point that Lavanya is going to turn out the room and she's just going on a rampage, like screaming, "Where's Eric?" Like, "Where's Eric?" Sort of Bill.
Meanwhile-
Kill Bill, sort of.
Meanwhile, Erg is going on a rampage in the room.
Like you see, like you're shouting your heads off. You notice the security guard from earlier, running up, and as he jumps in, he jumps into a room initially to see what all the hubbub's about. Notices that there is now a patient missing. As you just see him interact with the walkie-talkie on his chest, as he goes like, "Attention, all security personnel in the hospital. We have a kidnapped patient. I repeat, a patient has been kidnapped." as if to like alert all other security nearby about kidnapping that has now taken place. As the security guard looks towards you specifically, Liam, as you are the champion and you have the authority at this moment in time, he looks towards you and just goes, "Sir, would it be viable to check the CCTV again at this point?"
Yes, it would be very advisable because we have the patient missing, and it's he's a very good friend of ours, so we want him found.
We're gonna stay in this room and just keep looking to see if we can find any more Agricon rocks.
Alrighty. You have another like quick search of the room. Don't seem to identify any other rocks apart from that one you now have hold of.
Hmm.
Would you like to join the others in the security room at this point?
Yeah, I'll march in about a minute after they got there.
Okay, cool. So they're being patient. They're waiting for you. You come on strolling in, and as you all in there, security guard's on his seat again, ready. He's preparing all the footage for today instead of yesterday. As he gets that all set up, he plays it from, and he looks over to you, Liam, and just goes, "Sir, I've set this up to play from when we first interacted back at my desk. Is that okay for you?"
Yes, it is.
Okay, here we go. He pushes the play button, and you watch it play out. You see that there's a security camera on the security desk itself, as you see you guys walking into the security room. And good night, Gothip, by the way. I hope you do feel better soon. Not very nice to hear. Yes, as you guys enter the security room, you notice that whilst you're in there, there was one of the Agricons coming out with the device that you guys were keeping your eyes on, with the tarpaulin back over the top of it as it was coming out. And then you see the professor not too far behind that guy, with the other Agricon not too far behind him, pulling Eric out.
Okay, first of all, now we need every single one of police officer to look for them and set down that there are no flights leaving until this issue is resolved. Flights or ships or anything like that.
The security, did it cover at all? Does any security cover outside the hospital? Like, would we have seen them actually, like, getting into any vehicles or anything like that?
Oh yeah, like you have this, like when you enter the hospital, you notice there was like the odd like guards running around just to make sure that everything's like staying moral and there's no like bad stuff going on anywhere. You know, there are guards all over the place, and if a security protocol like this was to happen, there will be guards like automatically positioned to like emergency exits and entrances all over the hospital. So the interesting thing is the CCTV keeps playing at this point.
Okay.
And you notice that before they reach the end of the corridor where the CCTV camera is based at, the Agricons stop before going through the door, as the professor seems to walk in front of them and seems to go to walk ahead of them. You don't see any sign of like a door swinging open or anything like that, but you see the professor going out of the sight of the CCTV before suddenly just seeing like the CCTV buzz out and come back on with a clear image of that corridor with no one in there.
Okay, that's very worrying.
Is that camera broken?
Well, we regularly check those cameras, sir. That was last checked over yesterday because we check them every 24 hours. And that one was working clear as day.
And you will check them now.
People don't disappear.
Yeah,
It's at that
people
moment
don't
in
just disappear.
Yeah, it's at that moment in time when you notice that all the cameras at this point in time make it look as if everything's normal and there's no sign of a professor or a couple of agricons walking through.
Hmm. That
Is there like a camera outside the security office at all?
There is indeed. Even that one just seems to show like the
Hmm.
office door with nothing.
Is this live footage?
This is. Well, this was
Um,
live footage.
Hmm. So the cameras, have they stopped working, all of them now entirely? Have they started working again?
Yeah, you see that the cameras seem to be off for what seems to be like a good half an hour because you guys have been taking a while like keeping your eyes on the CCTV. It does take a while to get things properly set up and looked through properly whilst you guys are in there. You keep an eye on the time codes and it seems to be clear like this or normal without any like big action going on for like a good half-hour period. And then you notice the buzz again, as it just seems to go back to like seeing people in A&E, seeing like hospital running like normal. But again, no sign
Where
of the
would
Professor
we?
or the Agricons.
Where would we have been during this glitch?
Inside the security room, looking over the cameras from earlier.
Is there a camera in the security room watching over it?
Not in the security room itself, no.
Damn.
Now, the only question really is, you wonder how they were able to get out of the hospital without Lavanya spotting, because Lavanya was outside.
Oh, Shiza, you're right!
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Is there any footage of Lavanya going out or during this time, or would that have been after or before?
Well, let's have a look. Security guy rewinds things a little bit to when you guys entered the room and Lavanya was walking off. You see Lavanya walking past the reception area, just walking out the doors, and you see a camera outside with Lavanya like walking outside, clearly frustrated in herself. Oh, excuse me. But hanging about outside the main entrance, like getting some air at first, like pacing a little bit, and it all seems normal. But then when the time comes when you see that little like buzz happen and the cameras switch off, the only one that doesn't seem to get switched is that camera pointing outside. As you still see Lavanya, like some cars going by, etc. Like just going about the average day with nothing happening.
how the fuck did they manage to get past without me noticing?
All right, I'm gonna roll a dice just to see if Erg would have picked up on this. This is only for my own headcanon.
Alright.
Okay, yeah, that's high enough. I rolled 11, so it was a 50-50 chance, but I couldn't be asked to find a coin. Erg just like has a sudden spot of inspiration and asks, "Are there any other exits?"
The only other exits that we know of, sir, are only supposed to be used by staff personnel. You need a proper, like, key card and everything in order to get out of them.
Did Strong Beef did Strong Beef have a security card?
Strong beef.
Strong beef.
Like, as far as I'm aware, sir, he has a medical visitor's license, so he is allowed to commit to any medical procedures that require him, but he does not have access to any of the staff entry and exit points. It's at this moment in time when the security guard gets like a little like through his walkie-talkie as he listens over to it and looks back over to you guys and just goes, "Sir, one of my guards just checked one of the security exits. As I said earlier, only the doctors and staff personnel have access to. Apparently, the device has been tampered with."
Okay.
Mighty ham.
Ask them how it's tampered with. Is it like destroyed, or is it like just used like maybe made a card with and skimmed or
I
something?
getcha. Like, see if it's been like professionally hacked or like makeshift hacked.
Yeah, or is it just destroyed?
I
I've
getcha.
got a question. I've got a quick question about like
Yeah.
this isn't like in of the story. This is about Fox's character. Like
Mhm.
how do his like cybernetics work basically? Like what does it allow him to do?
So if Foxy was to use Liam's hacking capabilities, basically
Mhm.
Liam's hacking device is very similar to like a mini PDA, or like a
Right.
mini like BlackBerry or mini smartphone, but
So-
it has like a quick set of tools in there that allows it to connect to machinery or certain devices, and then he's able to like tap away at his phones in order to like hack through code in order to gain access, etc.
would it be able to do like diagnostic sort of things, like being able to see how it was accessed, how it was tampered with? Like in
Yeah.
the case of this key code, would you be able to see how it was tampered with, and maybe like use that to his advantage, like be able to like find some sort of trace or something like that from it,
Yeah, sure.
like some sort of signature that he could. Hmm.
I'm very sure he could.
And just Erg just thinks like for about like he looks like he's getting quite warm. His head looks like it's about to start going molten, and then he just looks at Liam and just goes, "You have cybernetics.
Yes.
You have tech. That is tech. Can your tech do that tech?"
Yeah, I think we could run some diagnostics on the door.
Hmm.
It's at this moment in time the security guard will look at you and just go, if you want to liaise with my security colleague at that device, sir, I'll stay at the CCTV and look through the footage, see if anything comes through.
All right.
Do you want like one of us? Erg will stick behind with the guard in case anything comes up, so he can come running to you two if anything happens. Because he's a big guy and he'll just get in the way.
Yeah.
Aw. Okay, so Lavanya, are you going with Liam?
Yeah, may as well.
Nice. So you guys go to where the device has been tampered. It's like a regular like keycard scanner, but you look at it. Seems to be it seems to be intact for the most part. But then the security guard standing there, he takes you over and just goes. It seems okay on the outside, sir, but look at this. And then he shows you to like where the back panel attaches to the wall. And the back panel has been ever so slightly pushed forward to expose some wires, one of which has been chipped.
Let me see about this, because this is kind of like my sort of expertise.
No wires. Are you going to be using your hacking device for this one?
Yes.
Lovely. So you whip out like a little PDA device, going through like some of the multi-tools connected to it. Find an appropriate thing to connect into the back of this little snazzy thing as you go typing away onto your PDA. Now, to make sure that if this succeeds or not, roll me a smarts check.
So that's 21.
Ooh, very good.
Nice.
So, with that 21,
Mhm.
what happens is you're able to connect things like you go through like the green lines of code as you fully understand what it all means, typing the appropriate codes where you need to in order to counteract them and get into the system. As the PDA comes back with a line of code that you understand as a breach, like an interface breach, as if to suddenly say that the device was forced to approve entry to a foreign entity.
Okay.
Damn.
And then you see that the code
Also-
afterwards just goes into like errors coinciding with that snippet of wire that you saw.
Yeah. And if you want to know a funny thing, I actually just sent an application to university about computer tech
Nice.
in real life.
I'm going to start calling you Cyber O'Reilly if you get into that.
You will
Cyber
officially be
O'Reilly.
Cyber O'Reilly.
Yes. Embodying my character.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, they often say that a D&D character is somewhat an extension of yourself. So,
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Erg is just my loyalty and brute force.
Your
All
spirit
right.
animal.
So
Yeah,
So
Erg is my spirit
this
animal.
this part, this piece of code is related to the wire which has been shipped.
Yes.
Liam is saying that to the guard.
Okay.
Someone has hacked into the system, and they have they have forced it open without the real authentication.
Okay, like the security guard takes that in mind. He like buzzes through to like the other security guards to keep them informed of everything as well, just to make sure everyone's in the same page.
And so, you guys have the access key to this door, right?
We do indeed, sir.
Okay, you let me through. I want to see what's on the other side.
No problem, sir. He like puts his card up to get it scanned. It opens up the door for you as the door through this exit leads down a pretty like big clear corridor in case anyone needs to like take patients down here. This seems to be like an exclusive entry and exit way for emergency patients. But like the just in case the front entrance is a little bit too busy, at least there's a back entrance to bring them in just in case. Or what is mostly identified as the VIP entrance for if there are very important patients coming in that don't necessarily need to be interacted with the general public in the main rating areas.
Is there CCTV going into this area?
You notice
And-
that on the cameras that the CCTV in the CCTV room, at this moment in time, whilst you're looking at everything, you look at all the camera feeds and they seem to be working okay, apart from one that just seems to be like TV white noise, bzzz, like
Just
visuals.
just
turns
before
to
we
the
are heading out, Liam is just saying to the guard, "Can I borrow your walkie-talkie? Because I need to talk to the head of security while we are in here."
That's okay with me, sir.
Uh,
You just
At the
Okay.
same time, Erg is just going to ask which room that is that camera's not working in, and then immediately try and run to get to Liam and Levan.
the security
Tell him
guard
where
that
it
you're with, Erg, like identifies all the security cameras. Like you see him like count them or recollecting where they're placed, and then he points out that one is connected in the corridor right next to that security door, sir.
Okay.
Erg's gonna just dash out of the room and dash towards them as fast as he can to tell them what's going on.
And Liam is there like is it? Do we arrive to the security door before does catch us up?
Yeah, so the security door's left a little bit ajar by the security guard, just in case of like easy access, easy entry and leave once you guys are done in this bit. You notice that Erg is running the way over, so the security guard just clocks it and opens up the door ready for him.
And is there like any like cut or cut cables or anything to the CCTV that isn't working?
You have a look at the CCTV camera itself and where it's placed. It doesn't seem to be tampered with at all on the outside.
Okay. At that point, Liam has hooked up the walkie-talkie the way it usually would be, with the security guard way, and takes the walkie-talkie and says, "Okay, check the camera, whatever the number is."
Okay, dope. So you read the number on like the base of the camera, check it over, and you ask him to like check all the footage from when you guys entered the security room up until basically now. And you notice that throughout that entire period, it seems as if when the security feed buzzed out on all the cameras throughout the hospital, apart from the ones on the outside, that one in that specific corridor didn't just buzz to something clear with no fuss happening. It seemed to just buzz out into this white noise state that it was now at.
Okay, this is kind of worrying, but I think we are gonna go through the security door and try our best to find Eric.
Okay. You down this corridor, there is like another big set of, these are actually automatic doors that are automatically set to go off whenever they have anyone come by. So you walk on over, you don't notice like any like scratches or like roughness in the corridor itself as you rush through. The doors swing open, and as they swing open, you notice this smell just come about you, like the smell of like gasoline that's been let off from like a vehicle that must have been close by, as you notice skid marks on the floor, literally just a moment outside of where those doors are, where there would normally be a bay for an ambulance.
Oh no.
Okay. They have left the hospital in a hurry. But what is going on? Because we need to find Eric.
He's the Prime Minister's son as well, so...
Yeah, so that would be very bad for the international politics and stuff like that.
Exactly. And the search for Eric can continue in the next gripping episode of Ring Warriors.
God damn it.
I think it's going in a direction you guys weren't expecting.
No.
A hell of a funny cliffhanger.
I have no expectations, so I kind of have the edge that I already somehow know how your mind works.
We shall see. But
Yes.
with that all in mind, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for an interesting week of Ring Warriors action. Next time, when we are doing things, probably won't be doing an update bit like I did this time. We'll probably keep that. I might actually do that monthly, but I might even do that as its own like separate stream. 2V's ones, just so that we have our dev updates separate from the actual sessions, so we can keep these just for the sessions. Let me know if you would like that, or let me know if you know like the half dev talk, half session bits. See what you like. Let me know in the comment sections wherever you may be, or hit me up on social media and let me know all that fun stuff. All the details down in the descriptions of the panels or wherever you're watching this down below. It's all down there. In the meantime, though, be sure to keep in mind that any subs, follows, or any of that jazz that are done as these streams are happening, any income that we get from bits or donations, etc., go towards the two charities that we support during these sessions, being Diabetes UK and Cancer Research UK, because we want to put those things into a chokehold and put them to rest for good. Oh yeah.
Yes.
I want to suplex the hell out of cancer.
Damn
Yeah.
friggin' right.
That
You
is
say, boy.
true.
So right.
Slam dunk that diabetes right into a trash can.
Hell
Yes.
yeah. So yes,
Because I tell you now,
anything you
the
do want to
personal
give out
experience, it
during the
sucks.
live streams will go straight to those charities that we support wholeheartedly, all for a good cause. Now, next week, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be some super fun times. What the hell has happened to Eric? What does this mean for the party? Who the heck is behind all this? And who the actual hell is Strongham for that matter? What the fuck? Well, all these answers, more action, and God knows what else will be happening next time on Wing Warriors. Be sure to be following, subscribing, and all that jazz wherever you may be. All the buttons are appropriately down there, and all that jazz, you know it by now. That's the crew. That's me. We'll be seeing you next time. Stay explosive, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.